Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Get ready to look up at the night sky, because on November 5th, we're going to witness the biggest full moon of the year. If you've ever seen those incredible photos of a giant moon hanging over the horizon and wondered what's going on, you're in the right place. Today, we're going to dive deep into the science, the myths, and the cultural magic behind this amazing celestial event. So what exactly makes a full moon the biggest? When you hear people talking about the biggest full moon, what they're usually referring to is a supermoon. It sounds like something out of a comic book, but it's a real astronomical phenomenon. A supermoon is what happens when a full moon coincides with the moon being at or near its closest point to Earth in its orbit. This closest point is called perigee. You see, the moon's orbit around our planet isn't a perfect circle. It's an ellipse, kind of like a slightly squashed circle. Because of this, the moon's distance from Earth is always changing. At its closest point, the perigee, the moon is about 356,500 kilometers away. But at its farthest point, called apogee, it's around 406,700 kilometers away. That's a difference of over 50,000 kilometers. So, when the full moon happens while it's near perigee, it can appear about 14% larger and up to 30% brighter than a full moon that occurs at apogee, which is sometimes called a micromoon. Now, a 14% increase in size might not sound like a lot, and to be honest, for the casual observer, the difference can be pretty subtle. You probably wouldn't notice it unless you were comparing photographs of a supermoon and a micromoon side by side. But wait a minute, you might be thinking, I've definitely seen the moon look absolutely enormous, especially when it's rising or setting near the horizon. And you're not wrong. That breathtaking sight is real, but it's not because the moon is physically closer at that moment. What you're experiencing is a fascinating trick of the mind known as the moon illusion. This illusion happens because your brain is a comparison machine. When the moon is low in the sky, your brain sees it alongside familiar objects on the ground, like trees, buildings, or mountains. By comparing the moon to these objects whose size you already know, your brain gets tricked into perceiving the moon as being much, much larger than it actually is. When the moon is high up in the vast empty sky, there's nothing to compare it to, so it appears smaller. It's a powerful psychological effect that has puzzled scientists and philosophers for centuries. So, that jaw-dropping, gigantic harvest moon you remember is mostly your brain creating a spectacular special effect, just for you. You've probably also seen those viral photos online of a truly gigantic moon dwarfing a city skyline. While supermoons are real, many of those dramatic images are created using telephoto or zoom lenses. These lenses compress the distance between the foreground and the background, making the moon appear artificially massive behind the subject. While they make for stunning pictures, they can give a slightly exaggerated idea of what you'll see with your own eyes. And what about the media hype? Every year you'll hear phrases like the biggest moon ever or a once-in-a-lifetime event. While it's exciting, astronomers tend to be a bit more relaxed about it. For them, supermoons are normal, predictable events that happen several times a year. They're a natural part of the moon's orbital cycle. So, while the November 5th full moon is indeed the biggest one we'll get this year, it's a wonderful opportunity to appreciate a regular yet beautiful celestial rhythm. It's a perfect blend of a real, slight increase in size and a powerful illusion created by our own minds. But the full moon is so much more than just a scientific curiosity. For cultures all over the world, it holds deep symbolic and spiritual meaning. Let's travel to China, where the full moon is woven into the very fabric of its culture. For thousands of years, the full moon has been seen as the ultimate symbol of wholeness, harmony, and, most importantly, reunion. Its perfect round shape represents completeness and unity. This idea is beautifully captured in the Chinese word Tuanyuan, which means family reunion. The full moon is the celestial sign for this concept. When the moon becomes perfectly bright and round, it symbolizes a time when families should come together, either in person or in spirit, strengthening their bonds no matter how far apart they are. In ancient Chinese philosophy, the moon is connected to yin energy, the force associated with softness, tranquility, and reflection. The full moon marks the peak of yin energy, representing a moment of perfect balance and cosmic harmony within the traditional yin-yang worldview. It's a time for quiet contemplation and inner peace. This connection to natural cycles was also vital for ancient agricultural society. Farmers used the full moon to mark time, guiding them on when to plant, when to harvest, and when to celebrate the earth's generosity. This practical relationship with the moon laid the groundwork for some of China's most important festivals, especially the Mid-Autumn Festival, celebrated on the 15th day of the 8th lunar month. When the moon is said to be at its brightest and most beautiful, the Mid-Autumn Festival is all about family unity, giving thanks, and praying for a prosperous future. Families gather to admire the moon, share delicious mooncakes, light colorful lanterns, and recite poetry. These traditions aren't just for fun. They are deep expressions of gratitude and hope that reinforce emotional connections. The moon is also filled with mythology. The beloved legend of Chang'e, the moon goddess, is a story everyone in China knows. It tells of a woman who drank an elixir of immortality and flew to the moon, where she now lives forever with her companion, the jade rabbit. This tale is filled with themes of love, sacrifice, and longing. It makes the full moon a symbol not only of happy reunions but also of the bittersweet feeling of missing loved ones who are far away. This feeling echoes through centuries of Chinese literature. The great poet Li Bai famously wrote, "Lifting my head, I gaze at the bright moon. Lowering my head, I think of home." For countless poets and artists, the moon became a silent confidant, a bridge connecting hearts across vast distances. When people gaze at the same moon, they share a moment of connection, no matter where they are. Even today, in a world of science and technology, these traditions remain strong. Admiring the full moon is a way to feel connected to history, culture, and family. It's a gentle reminder that life moves in cycles. Just as the moon wanes and then becomes whole again, families may part and reunite, and harmony can always be found. The full moon is not just a beautiful light in the sky. It represents balance, unity, and the timeless values of family and togetherness. Now, let's journey across the globe to Australia, where the full moon also holds a special and ancient significance, particularly within Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander cultures. For tens of thousands of years, long before modern astronomy, the moon was a guide for life, a keeper of time, and a spiritual presence. For many indigenous groups, the full moon is a powerful symbol of renewal, fertility, and the endless cycle of life. It's deeply connected to traditional stories of creation, known as the dreaming, and features ancestral beings who shaped the land and the sky. In some of these stories, the moon itself is a creator spirit who lives, dies, and is reborn each month, mirroring the cycle of life, death, and regeneration. This wasn't just symbolic. It was practical knowledge essential for survival. First Nations people used the phases of the moon, especially the full moon, as a reliable calendar for hunting, fishing, and gathering. The bright light of the full moon made it safer and easier to travel at night and to hunt or fish along the coastlines. The moon's phases were also linked to the tides, the seasons, and the behavior of animals and plants. This intricate understanding of the environment, passed down through generations, was key to living sustainably and in harmony with the land, or country. For example, certain communities knew that a particular full moon signaled the time when turtles would be laying their eggs, or when a certain type of fish would be most abundant. This lunar knowledge was, and still is, a vital part of cultural wisdom and connection to country. While modern, non-Indigenous Australian society doesn't generally attach a deep spiritual meaning to the full moon, its importance in Indigenous culture remains profound. It continues to be honored in ceremonies, storytelling, and art, serving as a powerful link to ancestors and tradition. So, when we look up at the full moon from Australia, we are not just seeing a celestial body. We are looking at a source of ancient wisdom that has guided the continent's first peoples for millennia. It's a symbol of endurance, knowledge, and a deep, unbroken connection to the land. So, as November 5th approaches, I encourage you to go outside and experience the biggest full moon of the year for yourself. Find a spot with a clear view of the horizon just as the moon is rising. Watch as it climbs into the sky and think about everything it represents: Think about the science, the elliptical orbit, the perigee, and the amazing moon illusion that makes it look so grand. But also, take a moment to connect with the deeper, human side of the moon. Think of the families in China gathering to share mooncakes, feeling a sense of reunion and completeness. Think of the ancient traditions in Australia, where the moon was a guide for survival and a spiritual ancestor. The full moon is a shared experience that connects all of us. No matter where you are in the world, you are looking at the same moon that your ancestors looked at, the same moon that has inspired poets, guided farmers, and comforted lonely hearts for countless generations. It's a symbol of cycles, of renewal, and of the enduring human need for connection. For millennia, this celestial event has captivated humanity, weaving its way into the very fabric of our cultures and spiritual beliefs. It's more than just a beautiful light in the night sky. For many, it's a powerful symbol of divine cycles, spiritual milestones, and profound transformation. So let's journey together and uncover the celestial secrets hidden in plain sight. First, let's delve into Christianity, where the full moon plays a surprisingly crucial role, especially in connection with Easter, the cornerstone of the Christian faith. Have you ever wondered why Easter's date changes every year? The answer lies with the moon. The tradition, established by the early Church at the Council of Nicaea in 325 AD, set Easter to be observed on the first Sunday after the first full moon following the spring equinox. This specific full moon is known as the Paschal full moon, derived from Pascha, the Greek word for Passover. This isn't a coincidence. The Last Supper, a pivotal event in Christian theology, was a Passover meal. The Jewish festival of Passover follows a lunar calendar, always celebrated during a full moon. By linking Easter to this lunar cycle, early Christians created a direct historical and theological bridge back to the final days of Jesus' life. The Paschal full moon thus acts as a celestial timekeeper, ensuring that the celebration of the resurrection is forever tied to its historical roots in the Passover tradition. So, for Christians, the full moon isn't an object of worship, but rather a powerful symbol woven into the narrative of salvation. It represents God's divine timing and the fulfillment of prophecy. Think about it. The moon's cycle reflects a pattern of renewal, moving from darkness to fullness and back again. This rhythm beautifully mirrors the Christian themes of death and resurrection, of light overcoming darkness. The full moon that illuminates the night before Easter can be seen as a symbol of hope, a luminous promise in the dark, just before the dawn of the resurrection brings the ultimate light to the world. It's a reminder that even in moments of shadow and uncertainty, a divine plan is unfolding, just as the phases of the moon follow a predictable, God-ordained path. This celestial connection enriches the liturgical calendar, embedding the story of faith not just in ancient texts, but in the very cosmos itself. Now, let's turn our gaze eastward to the serene and profound world of Buddhism, where the full moon holds an even more central and sacred significance. For Buddhists, full moon days, known as Poya days in some traditions, are incredibly auspicious. Why? Because it is believed that the most pivotal moments in the life of Gautama Buddha all occurred on a full moon day. His birth in Lumbini, his supreme enlightenment under the Bodhi tree in Bodh Gaya, and his final passing into parinirvana in Kushanagara all are said to have been graced by the light of a full moon. This celestial alignment makes these nights exceptionally powerful for spiritual practice and reflection. The full moon is seen as a perfect symbol of purity, clarity, and the awakened mind. Just as the moon is at its fullest and brightest, so too can the human mind shine with the light of wisdom, compassion, and mindfulness when it is free from the clouds of delusion and desire. On these sacred full moon days, temples and monasteries across the globe come alive with devotion. You'll find followers gathering to meditate, chant sacred texts, and listen to teachings from monks and nuns. Many Buddhists observe the day with heightened diligence, undertaking special precepts such as the 8 precepts, which involve abstaining from things like eating after noon, entertainment, and adorning the body. This isn't about rigid rules. It's about simplifying one's life for a day to cultivate inner peace and focus the mind. It's a time for deep introspection to reflect on one's actions, practice generosity by making offerings, and cultivate a heart full of loving kindness for all beings. The goal is to purify the mind, let go of the ego, and align oneself with the calm, radiant energy symbolized by the full moon. It's a monthly opportunity to reset, recharge, and recommit to the path of enlightenment. The most important of all these full moon celebrations is Vesak, sometimes called Buddha Purnima. This single day commemorates the triple miracle of the Buddha's birth, enlightenment, and passing. It's the most sacred day in the Buddhist calendar, celebrated with immense joy and devotion worldwide. On Vesak, the symbolism of the full moon reaches its zenith. It represents the culmination of the Buddha's journey of perfect, complete realization of truth. The celebrations are often beautiful and heartfelt. People decorate their homes and temples with lanterns, symbolizing the light of the Buddha's wisdom, dispelling the darkness of ignorance. There are acts of charity, the release of caged birds to symbolize liberation, and a collective focus on spreading peace and harmony. The spirit of Vesak is a powerful reminder that the potential for enlightenment, that radiant, full moon-like clarity exists within every single one of us. It's a celebration of not just the Buddha, but of the boundless capacity of the human heart and mind to achieve ultimate peace. So, as we compare these two perspectives, we see a fascinating tapestry of shared symbolism and distinct practices. In Christianity, the full moon is a historical and liturgical marker, a divine timekeeper linking the new covenant to the old and symbolizing God's providential plan. It's an external sign pointing to the central event of the resurrection. In Buddhism, the full moon is an internal mirror, a symbol of the perfected mind and an auspicious time for spiritual practice that aligns the practitioner with the key moments of the Buddha's own life. For Christians, it's about divine history. For Buddhists, it's about personal potential. Yet, in both traditions, the full moon serves as a powerful reminder of something greater than ourselves. It calls us to look up, to pause, and to reflect on the cycles of life, faith, and renewal. It connects the earthly with the heavenly, the historical with the personal, and the darkness with the promise of light. Whether it is the Paschal moon guiding the celebration of Easter or the Vesak moon illuminating the path to nirvana, this celestial body invites us into a deeper dimension of our spiritual lives. It shows us how ancient wisdom traditions found meaning not just in sacred texts and prophets, but in the rhythms of the natural world. The universe, in its predictable and beautiful cycles, becomes part of the sacred story. The next time you find yourself standing under the glow of a full moon, take a moment, remember the stories we've shared today. Feel its connection to millennia of faith, history, and the profound human search for meaning. It's not just a rock in the sky. It's a beacon of hope, a symbol of enlightenment, and a silent witness to the enduring power of faith. Thank you so much for joining me on this celestial journey through faith and history. I hope this exploration has given you a new appreciation for the full moon and its profound significance. If you found this video insightful, please give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you won't miss our next exploration into the fascinating world of symbols and beliefs. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Does the full moon hold a special meaning for you? Until next time, keep looking up and stay curious.